is RH Jam. We explore the effects of trauma, the little ways it manifests in our daily lives, and ways to move past this. Bhairavi Mehta, environmental engineer, international healer, and Reconnective Healing associate instructor, shares with us some insights into ways to cope, perhaps even overcome trauma itself. And here's Bhairavi, who's going to say hello to us real quick. Hi, Bhairavi, welcome. And as I said, she'll be back with us momentarily. We'll also have a wonderful continuation to the conversation we had with Jillian Fleer last week, right here coming up in the RH Jam. And welcome back. If this is your first time watching the RH Jam, my name is Anna Clavel, and I'm your hostess in this program. And this program is about topics and themes that are very important to us and we know are important to you. It is also about anything and everything reconnective healing here, now, and everywhere in this dimension, and as science is discovering, possibly as well, in the multi-dimensional universe, multiverse, that really is what makes everything. So we feel, know, experience. So without further ado, I'd like to let you know that Reconnective Healing is a energy-based approach that is not only something that affects and benefits us in a myriad of ways through healing as we know it, but also is a tool of transformation. And here is where there is a deep and intimate correlation between today's theme, trauma and past trauma guiding our lives, and what Reconnective Healing can bring to the table for us. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you this amazing topic. But first, I'd like to remind you, if you allow me, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, like this video, subscribe, and that way you'll never, ever miss any of our amazing live streams. And what makes them amazing is the great emails that you send me afterwards, the comments that you post, the information, your experience of this program is important to us. So please, not only send me these instant messages, chat with us. Look, I'm going to look right now here, and I know people are already posting. I am so excited about that. Keep the messages coming, because that's how we grow and we know the items that are important to you. And now, let's chat about past trauma and how it may be affecting our daily life. Could past trauma be directing, guiding, be at the helm of our daily decision making? Where here is one thing that first I'd like to just share with you. It's our concept of what trauma is. As I was doing the research for this program, it became very clear that how we feel about trauma is a deeply personal, individual experience. And what we may feel is traumatic for somebody else or for ourselves may not find the same correlation for somebody else or for ourselves. By that I mean, there seems to also be a level of judgment about what we deem to be traumatic. And I want to put that out there because in this program, we're going to talk trauma as accepting that is purely the personal experience, and that's the only one that is valid, and it cannot be measured by somebody else looking in. And that's the point of view that I intend to bring into this program. I'm sure that if you have a different opinion, you will let me know, as you have throughout these programs. Thank you again, wonderful audience. Trauma, we know, and we have heard it a million times, time heals all wounds. Yes, but, and here's where I just want to bring this up. When we talk about that, we talk about being able to remain somehow in touch with these things that have happened, whether it's a moment of grief, whether it's a moment in which our life was transformed in a way that it was shocking to us. It caused a break in the way of we perceive our own timeline, what we expected in our lives, our expectations are dashed. If we're in touch with this and we're progressing with it, time helps us create then a different narrative and solutions for this. And yes, it can help heal trauma, heal many other aspects of our own experience, because it helps us build upon new knowledge, wisdom that we've accrued, and sometimes, of course, professional help whenever it's needed. Yet there is a lot of levels in which we are sometimes not even allowed to grieve, to overcome our trauma, our traumatic moments. These are events that cause a disruption, not only on a physical level, when, for example, it's an accident, but also on any spiritual, mental, and emotional level. And these are not things that you can put really your finger on, put a plaster on or a band-aid and take a pill and it goes away. These are things that are not individual as well. They're not isolated from one another. But when they fall into isolation, then those obvious triggers do not become as obvious. And let me give you an example. Say that as a young child, you inadvertently touch a hot iron. You burn your hand, your entire hand. Your curiosity has that your entire hand gets burned. All right. So now you associate the heat of things with burning your hand. And that makes sense because, and here's something really important, a lot of what we learn via these traumatic experiences is valuable information. We do not need to deny that experience that we have accrued that way. It's there to help us, guide us, be safe from anything that may cause us harm. It's part of how our brain works. It wants to keep us safe. So say that from that experience, if it's hot iron, you don't touch it. Unchecked, it may go two ways. As you grow older, you realize that there's a difference between touching a hot iron and then touching other things that are hot but is still okay to touch. But if there's no way for that to happen for whatever reason, right? Then holding a bowl of hot soup may be the trigger for a whole set of emotions that have not been dealt with. And it sends you right back to that moment in which you lived that first experience. And those are the little past trauma moments that may be in many ways guiding how we make our next choices. Now, these beautiful images that the team chose for me, I really like this one that I want to share with you, is this fractioned head. It's a head that it's whole, as we can see, all the parts are there, yet it is subdivided. And it's this internal division between communication, between where perhaps our emotions are stored, perhaps where our feelings and emotions, perhaps the memory of it, creates for us a powerful illusion. And this illusion is no one other than because when the trigger happens, we, instead of seeing, for example, in this beautiful image, we have a butterfly with two sides, one that is the full color real butterfly, and then we have one that is black and white, something that is discolored. We may get stuck in the illusion of what we are perceiving as the actual event and not seeing the reality as it is now. It's preventing us from actually being in the present and in the moment, and that leads us to avoid opportunities. Sometimes consciously. Again, if we already have a correlation and an understanding that, again, very simplistic sample, and I realized that, right, of touching a hot iron, and we have understood that touching hot things that are meant for ironing is not good for us, but you've already extended that same feeling to touching anything else that is hot and you're not even thinking about it, you're going to prevent yourself from eating that whole bowl of soup, which is perhaps what you need. And that's how you start closing your ability to see your entire set of possibilities. You stop yourself from walking through the door, the portal we were talking a few Average Jams ago. You are not able to distinguish anything from what becomes the only source of focus in front of you and everything else around you. Now, no judgment here, because all of these processes are happening at levels in which are just firing up. They're just firing up. Something has triggered the manifestation of something that has happened. And how we have perceived it is what's dictating how this is going to manifest. And we become actually, this is, we become ticking bombs. We are then at the mercy of, if we are aware that we have an issue when A and B and C manifest themselves, we get anxious, we know we're not able to concentrate or sleep, then we are going to go out of our way to avoid those situations. But if you're not even entirely aware that this is basically a part of something that is just inside you, of this past trauma, then it's clearly going to dictate how you are going to be choosing what happens next, because it's going to try and keep you away from it, even if it's just something that looks like it, feels like it, but is not real. Ultimately, an illusion of the actual experience. Bhairavi is going to join us, and she's going to share a lot more about this in her own experience. But first, I want to update you real quick on something beautiful that Jillian shared with us right now. Are you with us today? I'm checking your chat. Are you here? Well, I see Miguel though, and I see Kimmy, Corey, Lexi, Jennifer, Rebecca, and is audio? Oh, no audio. Uh-oh. Let's see what's going on. Can you guys hear me? Alrighty. So, let me bring you back to our wonderful... Here we go. Can you guys hear me? Is that better? Excellent. Okay. Right, guys. So here is this beautiful gift for them and for all of you joining us today. Jillian sent us a beautiful quote. She really wanted to record something, but she is just feeling that this theme deserves its own episode. And we're going to go back and create that with you, for you. In the meantime, she wanted to share with us this beautiful, beautiful quote about what is it that it means to have. Give me a second here so I can change it. Here it is. What do we mean by manifestation? And we spoke precisely about receivership. And she says, Reconnective Healing allows us to exercise the receivership aspect of manifestation, exercising our very capacity to receive. Receiving from a realm of awareness where it's already happened. This becomes the point of engagement in Reconnective Healing. We are no longer at the level of our mind's manifestation. Now, if you guys were not with us last week, I recommend that you check on our playlist and watch our amazing RH Jam, which she discusses this at length. But in a just, what she's saying here is that our mind's ability to manifest is undeniable. But there is something more beyond our ability to, what is it that can be manifested in a sphere outside of time and space, in which whatever it is that needs manifestation, we need to understand it's already happened and being taken care of. And all that Reconnective Healing do is that, and our awareness of this process is how it brings the two together instantaneously. She recorded a beautiful feeling the frequencies moment that I want to share with you. Let's take a moment to play with the frequencies.
Hey, I'm Jillian Fleer. This is my beauty foster horse, Nebo. And I teach Reconnective Healing with Dr. Eric Pearl all over the world. And it's Feel the Frequencies Friday. And I just wanted to take a moment with everyone and talk about this beautiful way in which we are able to receive anytime, anywhere, no matter where we are on any given day in our life, this exchange, this beautiful receivership with the Reconnective Healing frequencies. So for the next couple of minutes, let's just play and see what it is, even in this digital universe that you're going to be watching in. What is it that we experience together when this intelligence called the Reconnective Healing frequencies, this superpower, is something that reaches to us? Sometimes I like to start a little close up, palm to palm, and I just observe what it is I'm sensing. Sometimes it feels a little pressure filled. And when I notice that it's reaching to me, my superpower, I play. I might move one hand in one direction and the other hand in the other direction. I may just feel with one hand just the air. I'm in this beautiful place here at the stables. And even with all this nature around me, these frequencies are so clear and powerful that I'm able to just tune in, actively listen, and even expand that sensation by creating distance. It's interesting too, as I receive more and more, everyone here in my little family starts to experience something. There's a awareness that just seems to be present, that even animals, without any direct exchange with them, tend to sense and feel. Hi, Nevo. So, on Fridays, play with us and feel the frequencies and see what you notice, observe, and witness in this superpower exchange that we call Reconnective Healing.
That was a powerful exercise. Yes, Rebecca Zavala, thank you. Yes, we love that exercise too. You can catch even more of those right here on our YouTube channel. We actually will be posting a brand new one tomorrow, Friday, with Dr. Eric Burrell himself. So make sure that you're subscribing to this channel. So real quick, because I want to round up this part of the topic so I can welcome Bhairavi proper. We said about being present and awareness, and that may be ultimately the space in which we can become in touch with the emotions and the memories of this past trauma. And here's the thing. We all have to admit we all need help with these things. We do. How we go about our help, everything is as we need. And that is, again, there's no better or worse. It's whatever we feel we need to be doing at any given time. Yet for many of us, we've discovered that it has to move beyond the mouse and cat game that it becomes with the brain and the mind. Because as we try to become present and try to put attention to what the issue is, sometimes it becomes even more elusive to try and deal with it or handle it or get to the bottom of it. And this is what I want Bhairavi Mehta to talk to us about, her experience of past trauma and her experience of reconnective healing affecting her the transformation that was needed for this to move past that point. So let's welcome now the amazing Bhairavi Mehta. Hello, Bhairavi.
Everybody there. It's so beautiful that when we talked about trauma, and I suddenly realized that there was deep rooted trauma in my life, and I had overcome it so effortlessly that I didn't even realize till we started talking about this session about trauma. And and that's the time I realized that okay, it's shifted so much in my system. And let me share with you what I had gone through. So I was just 6 years, and I got burnt all over my back and my right hand, and that happened because hot boiling oil where we fry things, like we are from India, so we have a lot of savories that we make at home, and some frying was happening, and I was sitting and eating, and it all spilled on my back and on my hand. And for almost a month I was in bandage, and I couldn't sleep on my back. I couldn't eat properly with my hand. I couldn't go to my school. I was in grade 1, and the feeling beyond the pain and the burn was helplessness. And after that episode, for almost 15 to maybe 17 years, I have never touched oil to fry any food. I've never been around where there is some sort of frying happening. And if even I be around, it would just bring me to that vision of me in bandage, and that vision of me trying to manage to eat my food or do my routine, because it was even very difficult to wear clothes. People used to come to see me, so it all flashes in my mind whenever I think of that boiling hot oil. So it was not about the iron, it was never about being burnt with anything else, but the hot oil would just trigger inside. Any feeling of frying food would bring that there. And more than the pain, my feeling that would come up was helplessness, because it was a month full where I was very helpless. So, as I said, that for 15, 17 years, I never did any frying. It started after marriage. I had to do certain things, I had to cook. It started, but it always flashed those images of me during that month where I was being taken care of, I was being treated, and uh, I had to be dependent on people, and I could not sleep properly because I had to always sleep on my stomach. And recently, I've just had this. I don't know how this all is shaping up, because Anna also gave an example of childhood and child as a child getting burned, and somehow that's my story. And I and Anna never had that conversation.
I know.
So recently, just 2 3 days back, I all this while after that episode, I have never burnt myself. Just 2 3 days back in the car, I ended up spilling hot water on my stomach, and I have a bit small portion which is burnt. I didn't realize that. uh, None of the memories ever flashed back, and I didn't even realize that the memories are not flashing back unless we are talking about this topic, because I suddenly feel that that no more whole space in my system of feeling helpless when something like this happens. And I'm sure it's the frequencies that have brought me to this level, because beyond this, the helplessness would invite insecurities, it would invite episodes where there is anxiety, it would invite episodes where I would slow down, because that 1 month of my time when I was burnt was always slowing me down. So that's my story of such a bad trauma with burns, because I was almost 40% burnt. The entire back, my hand, certain part of my left hand was all burnt when I was just 6 years old. And when I look into trauma, I feel that we carry a lot of emotional attachment to whatever we have faced. And not only emotions, we carry a lot of the memory in our cells. It's a cellular memory that builds up, and ultimately it affects the rewiring of the brain as we talk. But our awareness itself makes us more empowered, that beyond the pain, beyond the emotions, we still know that we are safe. We still know that we are in the right place. Because whenever we bring trauma back, or whenever we think about the trauma or the emotions or things around trauma, there are two things. One is the pain that we associate it with, and the other thing is we want to be away from that episode so that we are safe. We don't go through that again. We don't want to invite that again in our life. But with reconnective healing frequencies, I've suddenly realized this. Believe me, I've just realized this in the past 1 week that since I'm talking about this topic, that it is gone. The memory is there, everything is there, but the feeling attached, uh, how do I frame this? Whatever was pulling me down with the trauma, all that has gone. I've evolved and I feel much more safer. I feel much more stronger. And I feel that maybe that was part of my life which had to happen in that way. And rest throughout my life, I've been absolutely taken care of. So it's all about how each one takes this. And trauma can be from anywhere. It could be something that you have faced emotionally, something that you have faced physically. It could be some kind of loss, some kind of failure that can also leave trauma. That next time when you take up something, it's going to trigger and make you operate only out of anxiety or depression. And then you feel that, okay, you're losing every time, you're failing every time. It doesn't allow you to get over it. And with reconnect healing frequencies, what I've seen in myself and maybe a couple of my clients is that they've actually moved forward. They've moved past that feeling of anxiety, that feeling that pulls them down, and they have taken that choice, they have taken that leap and brought themselves to a space where the failure or the losing or the anxiety is no more ruling them. They are rather ruling their own world and bringing into their life what has served them for the right and what has served them for progress.
Bhairavi, I have to say, I'm in awe and inspired that you're sharing the story. As Bhairavi said, we actually never even got to discuss the details of this program today. And the example just came up literally 5 minutes before I started the program. I was thinking, and it just came through. Um, and this is a beautiful example to all of us to everybody who's watching. Here is a beautiful example of reconnective healing at work. For reasons that I needed, this topic came to Bhairavi. Through that topic, something happened in Bhairavi, in reconnective healing, in this interaction of frequencies, because everything we do, everything we speak, everything we share is in frequencies after all. It enabled
Yes.
her for experience something new, and she is sharing it back with us as part of this amazing journey that Bhairavi is having in her life. Bhairavi, thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. It's that's where I say that we are so interconnected with these frequencies. There is some language that we all are operating out of in silence because we are all in different parts of the world. Yet this topic came to me. You take the example of the burn. I just had a little burn 2 days back, and maybe that was what it was meant for today.
Well, you know what? I have a question here for you from Lexi. She wants to know, when you say we evolve, are you saying from the average frequencies?
Uh, Evolve, right?
Yes, evolve.
Yes, I have seen a lot of evolution in my life. I am an engineer, some of you seen that story, but after marriage, I was not allowed to do anything. I come from India, a very cultural community, and I felt like a loser because I've really put my efforts in doing the engineering. And after RH frequencies, it was like a whole new opportunity that opened up. I started practicing, I got my identity, I started traveling with the team on teaching assignments, and it's been a beautiful journey because it's evolving, it's unfolding every day. Every day of my life, I realize I've learned something new. I have been adding more to my empowerment, and I feel really, really lucky to have been introduced to these frequencies from this part of the world. And And it's been an amazing journey for the last 10 years.
Bhairavi, you've just mentioned it. Reconnective healing came into your life. There was this transformation.
Yes.
I like to share with the audience that Bhairavi is one of a very select group of our international teaching team who will be leading her own Catalyst program in Mumbai, India. Tell me a little bit about how this is shaping up.
So we are having a training, the Catalyst program in Mumbai in December 7th and 8th. And
I think, hang on, let's call her again, okay? I'm gonna call her again. And we'll have her live in no time again. Hang in there, guys. Here we go. The Skype music, I love it. Let's see if we can make that connection. Okay, we're gonna keep that music in the meantime. Here she is. Bhairavi, can you hear us?
yes, I can hear you. Can you hear her?
Yes. Okay. See if you can try it on your camera. There
Yes.
you are. Excellent.
Am I there?
Yeah, the camera cannot shut down on you again. Do you want... There you are. Yes.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Sorry, I think something went wrong.
No problem. No, nothing. It didn't go wrong. It just... frequencies. Who knows?
Absolutely.
You were telling...
Yes, we are so excited with the Mumbai program.
Yeah.
And it's happening on 7th and 8th December in Mumbai. And that's a nice time because at that time Mumbai has a very good climate. We are excited with people registering, inquiring. We are sharing and spreading a word about how these frequencies actually end up changing lives. And I look forward to people joining us for the training in Mumbai that's happening on 7th and 8th December.
Well, we have Rebecca is saying, well, regarding the little Skype, little tingling there, it was Mercury. I'm assuming she's saying Mercury retrograde. Is it happening, guys? Put it in your chat because I don't follow those things. Kimi is very excited, Bhairavi. She's sending you great greetings, and Elena is clapping for you over here. Guys, if you have any questions for Bhairavi, put them in now because we have unfortunately to wrap up our jam in about a few more minutes. So let's see, any chat, any questions, comments for Bhairavi? Let's have them. I see some attempts to type. Let's see what happens. Bhairavi, we are getting really close to the end. So I would love for you to have any final exhortations or comments that you'd like to share with us.
I think this mode of interacting is amazing, and I really look forward to spread the awareness of this work in my country. And let me just share you one thing. I went to learn this work in Germany in 2010. It was my first ever trip outside India. And the day I went for the training, and that was the day I thought that one day I also want to teach this. And it's manifesting after 9 years. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited, and I look forward to having more and more people join our training in Mumbai. And I look forward to stay connected with this beautiful Reconnective Healing family and community and keep spreading the awareness of these frequencies.
Absolutely. So spreading all the awareness of these frequencies. And Rebecca says, I am so grateful that this is spreading. She was typing that as you were saying it. How amazing is that? Again, Bhairavi, an honor and a pleasure to have you on this program. Thank you again for sharing your personal story and giving us the opportunity to share the beautiful interconnectivity between all of us and the frequencies of reconnective healing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here today.
Guys, and you who are watching, I've put a link below so you can visit Bhairavi's site and check out the program in Mumbai. It's going to be spectacular, all right? Plus a lot more content down there. But for now, we're going to say goodbye to Bhairavi, and we're going to put on screen some of our topic conclusions. Ciao, Bhairavi. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, guys. So we heard Bhairavi, and I also want to point out that we have a beautiful, super in-depth, personal, powerful life transforming blog in our website, which is all about trauma, and it's called Trauma to Triumph Through Reconnective Healing. I just want to share with you some things from that blog, which are 7 keys to heal from trauma. And here's 7 simple things that can start creating that difference for you in your daily life. Again, this is just a quick excerpt. The full blog, I highly recommend. I read through it. It's impossible not to immediately feel alongside with the stories that are there. So here we go. Remember, I am connected. We are connected no matter what. That feeling of isolation, of helplessness, is an illusion. We are always connected throughout ourselves, and we are part of the multiverse. We're connected to something bigger than we are, which ultimately really is who we are. But in levels, right? We'll take on the bigger discussion about us and the multiverse in another program, a multidimensional existence, which is, I think that deserves like a full hour. But in the meantime, being present and in the moment, remind yourself, I am here now, as a whole person that you are, that I am, that we are. We have and are abundant in life. We have an abundant life. We are open to possibilities, and we see that obstacles can be opportunities. Again, by very simplistic example, the bowl of hot soup is in fact not the hot iron, but the opportunity for a different way of intaking nourishment in a very streamlined, simplistic version of what we're talking about. I am powerful because I have the ability to grow and change. We all have this, and we forget that ultimately we have this power. We have the power to change, and we have the power to grow. It's when we forget that we are no longer able to see all the opportunities that the universe presents to us. My memories are not my reality. Those memories that rush in, the past trauma memory rushing in, directing from the back seat, because something looks like it, tastes like it, may look like it, is a knee-jerk reaction to keep us safe. But we need to thank it, be grateful that we have such a super conscientious guardian, but we need to ultimately realize that that is not the actual experience that caused the trauma, and is what we are reliving is an illusion. And guys, I'm so sorry to say, we have run out of time. So let's get to the last screen. I wish we could spend more time talking about this topic. If this is something that is totally important to you, that you feel we need to have a panel or maybe more like a forum, let me know. Put a comment here in the chat. I want to thank Lexi and Cecilia, who have been instrumental in monitoring and keeping this conversation alive and kicking. I want to remind you that Dr. Eric Pearl has an amazing book, and it's yours, this duration, for gratis. All you need to do is follow the link. It's here printed on the screen, but I also have it in the description below. Lots of amazing links down there. Go and explore, guys. You owe this to yourself. You owe to yourself the opportunity to know that there is something out there that is more, and it is Reconnective Healing. Follow us on social media. That way you'll always know what we're up to. And particularly, guys, if you're Instagram users, oh boy, we have a treat. The team have outdone themselves, and they are changing images and quotes, and then go and explore. Follow us up there. And if you have thoughts and messages, comments, let me know. We can only get ourselves more professional, more funny, more better. Okay, yeah, I know, that was bad syntax, I'm kidding. Anyway, was it grammar or syntax? Anyway, I'm sure I'm gonna get corrected. I love you all. Thank you for the opportunity. And until next week, here has been the RH Jam.